Today on the newscast, China plans massive military drills encircling Taiwan under military buildups. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has now left Taiwan, along with they have Korea, but the tension of Pelosi's visit China now, massive military drills Thursday, August encircle the island nation, saying this blockade of their country. Folks, this is all part of China's way. Includes a major nuclear buildup as well. This is China is obviously driving. And I do not exaggerate. They see themselves as the success on the world stage, as they continue to suppress their own people, the weak minority, and much more. So this is one of a massive military. Also about that Iran and North Korea. I've called this a storm against America. Thursday, we are having our very first premium member Q&A. If you are a Watchman, at 3 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow, Thursday, August 4th, and bring with yours the questions live tomorrow, 3 p.m. If you are interested in becoming on our homepage here on the channel. Let's go now to the museum. A top China, a very sobering and America and the world. We're joined now by Dean Cheng here in Washington. When it how strong, why are they getting at here?
Statistics is in total is about one of the world. They've always deploying space life. They do have the largest economy in the world. Nicer the house you have, the nicer the intimidate the neighbor. As territorial disputes with maritime, land, so we have seen across the border. On YouTube, you can see literally that the Chinese accuse of hundreds of miles. And they have, of course, the issue of Taiwan. fighter programs. They are building earlier of selected fields of
silos. China building up that arsenal. I think the past 15 years or so alone with that program.
very puzzling program. The Chinese nuclear weapons, they've really only built the United States. They have more than Russia, but they are building silos, and we think that those know that they are building. Talk about building. How extraordinary that is. The Soviet an air breed their forces. The Chinese are talking about building a brand new air launch cruiser.
What can be done about it? What can Beijing
to get its hooks into in every possible. Sherman went to China and they gave her two. America have to do if you want better. They clearly feel that they're. It's not just, hey, we want you to back off your military. They said universities. You have. Why? Because that's influence. That is shaping the influence. Be able to tell about us, how to teach about us. Different challenge. It is comprehensive. Has quite got
sea change from the previous semester growing just laid out serious and growing threat. Folks, very important analysis there. Eye on China's buildup, of course, the Middle East. America's backyard in Venezuela, Cuba, etc. At least signed a 20-year agreement. The Iran reminder that premium member Q&A us here. Till tomorrow, thanks so much. And remember, never. Hey everyone, thanks for checking out the Watch. See more, make sure you and hit the like button for new Watchman Newscast episodes every weekday.